I asked my senior what kind of an exposure or what kind of a package do we expect from a student from MSIT. So his straight answer was कि कोडिंग अगर आज तक नहीं करी है तो छोड़ दो, MSIT से जिंदगी में कोई कुछ नहीं कर पाया और ना तुम कर पाओगे.
How many stars do you have on computer programming platforms?
I did no competitive programming. Bhaiyas say that the ranking is being asked in interviews. Personally, nobody has ever
Never.
asked me ranking.
Let's answer this question. Is lead code enough?
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Open Source Cafe, and I'm really excited for this one because I have my childhood friend with me, Rahul, and Rahul just cracked an offer from Amazon Dublin, being from a Tier-3 college and off campus. He's a great guy, and hopefully you will learn a lot from his experiences because we like to highlight these amazing community members who are achieving great things to inspire you all. But before we get started, Rahul, would you like to tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself?
Yep, sure. And first of all, thanks Kunal for having me again. It's such a nice opportunity, especially being with my childhood friend and seeing you do all of these things. That's very impressive, and you know all about that. We've talked about it personally as well. Anyway, so yeah, about me. I'm currently completing my BTech from Maharaja Surajmal Institute of Technology. It's a Tier-3 institution. Branch is electronics, and currently interning at Macquarie.
Thanks for sharing, Rahul, and thanks again for being on the show. Hopefully, it will inspire a lot of people because we get a lot of questions. I mean, definitely we get a lot of questions related to Tier-3 colleges. So colleges that don't get many on-campus opportunities, but we also get many questions related to people not being from a CS or IT branch. So people who are from electronics branch, can they get some similar offers? And I believe you're leading by an example over here, and not just Rahul. I had Sanskar over on the channel as well for a great talk. I had Karan, who is also my childhood friend, on the episode. So people are making it big, being from these branches like electronics and electrical and all these other things. So definitely you should now stop asking this question, can I make it without CS and IT? Never ask this question. The question you should ask is how to do it. So let's move forward with that. And before we get into the the Amazon opportunity and other let's talk a little bit more about your previous experiences, because folks often ask okay, this person got this opportunity or whatever. What was their previous experience? Can you share a little bit more about your college life and your previous internship experiences or whatever? And can you maybe share about your hobbies as well?
Yeah, so I've always been on a bit more creative side, as you know, even since our high school. So before college, I worked as a video editing intern at Sotex. And after that, I interned at BI Worldwide as a designer. And there I got some exposure with companies like Bosch, Coca-Cola, Britannia, 3M, Dell, etc. Later on, I've also worked as a product design intern at Parallel, on which I worked as a UI UX designer, basically responsible for a website for COVID platform, which is the world's largest COVID vaccination program. I've also created some music videos for Sony Music, and I also create music in my free time. I've also been a part of the community, by the way. Been a DSC member, and I've also currently I'm a Microsoft LSA. So yeah.
And you are also like all the initial thumbnails and my banners that you see on the channel. It was made by Rahul. So he was the one who helped me kickstart my channel. Could not have done it without Rahul. It's been a very nice, crucial part of the growth initially. But yeah, I mean, you can see, you have so much, experiences. When we usually talk about what are your previous experiences, it's all tech, but you are like more on the creative side. So you have enjoyed life and you've tried out various things from music production to graphic designing, software engineering, and things like that. So let's talk a little bit more about the theme of this session. Now that students know about your background and what you were into and stuff, how did you let's talk a little bit more about the opportunities.
regarding the opportunity, I'm currently selected as a front end engineer at Amazon, Dublin, Ireland.
Nice. Cool. So yeah, I mean, is there a reason like why you applied outside India? Because I preach about this a lot, the company culture outside India, and more opportunities or whatever, better pay. So I think your pay is around 1.2, 1 point how much crores? 1.
1.2.
1.2 crores. So I think like that's the standard out there. Obviously, the standard of living and everything, and most of the roles that you find are in those ranges. We talk about your complete package. So I just want to learn about your views. Why do people like you and me even prefer working for companies outside India?
You've summarized it a lot of times. You've shared it on LinkedIn. You keep sharing on Twitter as well. And to summarize, it's all about work-life balance and the type of exposure that you get. Plus, it's it's a lucrative opportunity, of course.
Absolutely, and money is important. I'm not saying it's not. Most definitely, if someone says, "Oh, I'm not just in it for the money part," and I mean, obviously, I am not into tech for money.
Yeah,
There's a second reason for why I'm in tech, but money is very important, obviously, for me and for everyone else for a healthy lifestyle. I've gotten offers like $150,000 that I've refused just for the company that I want to work with, the
yeah.
startup culture or whatever. So
That's
definitely, I'm not. I'm saying money is important, and it should be important to like talk about it, and that is the reason I recommend people to apply for companies outside India, because companies in India cannot even come close when it comes to such work-life balance and stuff. There might be a few, but if you talk about like Fang in India in itself, no, it can't come close to that. So I think like definitely see the bigger picture and what other people are offering, like companies outside India and in India, and see what works for you. I think that's the best way to go with it, because you can be satisfied in whatever you're satisfied in.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something which college is all about. Yeah, if you see my experience, I've tried to diversify as many things. I've tried to learn as many things as possible, and to figure out what I really like.
Hmm.
And yep, that's what you need to do. Otherwise, you wouldn't know what you like.
Yeah, so let's talk about this opportunity particularly, and I'm sure people would love to know about how did you find out about it.
Well, through a friend of mine. Actually, I was applying to Amazon India at first, and then I saw that there are more openings, more international openings, and I instantly contacted my friend. I asked for a referral, and I applied.
That's it. Yeah, pretty straightforward. I don't think
Yep.
there's much to discuss over there. So you applied, you filled the online form, right? You applied with the referral. So that's a point to be noted for people. And I think referral plays a very, very crucial role, because these big tech companies, they got a lot of applications. So referral
Mhm.
definitely helps you a little bit.
Yep.
So definitely if you apply, though, apply with the referral. Actually did a podcast with my like Google recruiter also, and she said the same thing, that apply with the referral whenever you can. It's really, really helpful. Okay, sure. A lot of folks would be interested in learning about your interview experience. So you applied, your application got shortlisted. Can you tell about your interview experience, the coding rounds, and all these other things, and what were the level of questions? By the way, before we move forward, how many stars do you have on computer programming platforms?
I did no competitive programming.
Amazing.
None.
That's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to.
I tried it, but I realized pretty early that it's not for me. So I
Hmm.
just left it, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree. And this is the weird thing, because see, the thing is that Rahul is an example for this, and not just Rahul, every other person. I think when you're preparing for job interviews, computer programming is a waste of time. Literally. You don't have to do it if you're just preparing for interviews. So people who get into these companies who have a computer programming profile, that is overkill. You're not getting into it because your CP ranking or whatever. There are exceptions, but I usually share that, don't have such a high risk. Like for example, when you talk about high risks, it's like you will not do anything in 4 year of college. You will only do computer programming because you want high ranks. That's a risky thing to do.
Yeah,
Okay, instead explore development, other fields, build your
yeah,
profile, other internships, projects, open source, whatever. Then you will not be worried. After 4 years, it's like it will be like a hit and miss for computer programming. So that's why I
Yeah,
mentioned it's always like a waste of time if you're just doing it for cracking your interviews or whatever. Don't do
yeah,
it.
it makes a lot of sense if you see how many companies recruit on the basis of competitive programming and the skills that you have. Uh, there are 95% jobs out there which require other things, and there's a huge pool that you could apply to. And if you just
I
keep,
don't think anyone like yeah, no, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
yeah, that's it. If you keep doing that, it narrows down substantially.
Yeah, and I think it's only for basically in Indian companies. I agree, and if Indian like tier 1 colleges, they ask for rankings and stuff, but that's not the market I'm trying to divert my audience to. I'm
Also,
trying
to
to
be honest,
divert my
I've
audience. Yeah,
heard bhaiyas say that the ranking is being asked in interviews. I've personally, nobody has ever
never.
asked me ranking.
The thing is, there's like a market for this, and the market is in India. In outside companies, they don't really ask you for your rankings. Obviously, if you are like AIR 10 globally in Google Code Jam or whatever, that is good.
Yep.
People will value that. People will
Yep.
value that. Companies will value that. But do you see the risk in that? The probability in that? AIR 10. By the way, I don't think there's anyone who has even come close to AIR 10 in contests like Google Code Jam. And this is the reason I also think that India is. It's not what I think. It's the fact. You can see the platform. You can see the computer programming rankings. Why India has failed at computer programming? Because I think it's because students do computer programming just to get a job at FAN, which is a waste of time. Not really required. Lead code is more than enough, but they don't do it as a sport. People who are like tourist who is the biggest computer programming in the world. Do you think he does computer programming for getting a job at Google? No. And I'm not saying that. You can check out the Hacker Rank survey. You can check out all the platforms of coding ranks. You can see that here India is at level number 31. We have never won a single global contest. We have never ranked in the high ranks of any single global contest. I'm not talking about individuals. Even individuals themselves have never ranked anywhere in any single contest. Anyone, those people say, oh, this person is grandmaster or whatever. That's fine. They may be 1-2 in India, but they have never won any contest for a country, or even in the top 10 or whatever in any single like Google Code Jam, Hacker Cup or whatever globally. And as you can see, we're the best developers or whatever compared to like computer programming like Olympics. We don't stand anywhere close. Okay, India ranks 31st, and that's it. Yeah, even the programming languages wise, India is nowhere over here. The reason being because people do it for fun. Now the thing is, Kunal, is this a bad thing? I don't think so, because you can't be good at everything. I'm a huge believer in looking at the positives. So India, for example, has had some influential, extraordinary people in open source who are contributing to open source projects. So the number of open source contributions you get from India are really like high level, next level. And I think that is something we should be proud about. But I think even in the next 50 years, if this mindset, India, which supplies a big portion of hacker and is it's like highly used, like when it comes to like using C++, I know many people using C++, but when it comes to winning or whatever, we are not over here at all. So you can say India has some work ahead to make even in the top 25. Even in the next 50 years, no one from India would be able to win computer programming challenges globally, because the mindset is FANG mindset. So I think there's nothing to be ashamed about. We are doing great work in open source and other fields. But if you want to win some contests, you would have to take guidance from people like you know who are actually winning contests. Maybe take guidance from those people, like from Poland and all these other countries. They would be able to guide you about how to win computer programming challenges. So in India, there is no one who can guide you for computer programming because we ourselves have never won it. So this is all just a marketing tactic to sell the courses and create your YouTube channels. And in India, I don't think you should follow any computer programmers because we haven't won anything ourselves. If you want to follow computer programmers, follow computer programmers. Eric too has a good channel on YouTube. He's a great, computer programmer. Tourist and all those people, they live stream, and after the contest is over or whatever, they do solved coding challenges online. Take guidance from such people if you want to take guidance in computer programming, because I'm a huge believer in taking guidance from people who are successful in their fields. So yeah, my audience, when I talk about my YouTube channel, I'm not diverting you to my main goal for the audience that I have is get get jobs, remote jobs or full-time offers, you know, for what you are worth, basically. Be that in India, be that outside India. Don't settle for less. Although, if you do settle for less, that is also good because every little experience counts. So if you're like, let's say, interning or you get into a job that is paying you like 10, 15 LPA or whatever at like Microsoft or Amazon in India or whatever, I think that's a good thing. And if you're getting that opportunity, take it because these are big tech companies and you'll get to learn, you have a nice resume. And then after 1 year, 2 years, if you feel like you're not satisfied, you can move on to other companies or apply outside or whatever. So every experience counts. I'm not saying it does not count, but I'm just saying, wouldn't it be awesome to get the big packages right after college? That's sort of like the motivation I'm trying to provide. So Rahul, interview experience, how was it?
Interview experience, if we're counting the online assessment round as well, there were about 5 tests, I would say, in total. Three of them would be interviews, which were on the same day without a break. Only between the second and the third interview, there was a 30 minutes gap. Um, yep. So first round is online assessment, and you need to clear all of the test cases. Otherwise, you would not get a reply back. Second would be work style assessment, and this was very new to me. I had never given a work style assessment test before. So they try to simulate a day in, let's say, the kind of tasks that you will be working at. So that's what they try to simulate. It was new, but it was really fun. And it was not very complicated. It was easy. So I really enjoyed that. After that, my recruiter reached out to me, and we kind of worked out a date together for our interviews. And yep, all of the 3 interviews happened on the same day.
And what were the level of the questions?
So that's very hard. It's I'm going to use the lead codes ranking system. I mean, if you don't know anything about programming, even the easy ones are going to be hard for you. So with respect to lead codes, questions are, they're medium easy and medium hard, and the easiest ones of the hard, I would say.
Let's answer this question. Is lead code enough?
Yeah, yep,
There
it's
you go.
more than
Lead
enough.
code is enough.
Lead
I've
code
been
is
saying this from day one. Lead code is more than enough. Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, any company you want to apply, lead code and build your profile. Profile will help you in getting shortlisted, and lead
yeah,
code will help you in clearing interviews. That's it. Don't listen to anyone else. This is it.
yeah.
This is the key. All right.
Also,
Um,
I want to say that I code in C++, so I was not really looking for Java tutorials from you, but I've seen the algorithms and the type of content that you go over, and it's more than enough to for a graduate start, I would say. It's
thank you.
more
Thanks so
than.
much. Thank you so much. So yeah, if you want to clear your fan interviews, you have the free bootcamp link in the description below. Make sure you check it
And it's
out.
totally free, which
And
is crazy.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're updating it, and there's some bunch of things you have to do. But I personally guarantee you, if you just watch that boot camp, no other video you need to watch ever in your life. In addition to that, self practice is key, because
Yeah.
if you don't practice by yourself, then in the interview, like Rahul mentioned, test cases, all the test cases should pass. So you would know how to solve the question, but you would not be able to code it efficiently. For that, self practice and lead code is very important. Thanks for the
Even
shout
to
out, Rahul. Really
perform
appreciate
good
it.
in the interviews. Yeah, no
Cool, cool.
problem.
So Rahul, when we talk about college students, you and me, we are active in communities, but oftentimes folks ask us like, who are your mentors? Who help you? And where do you find mentors? I'd love to give my perspective on this as well, but I'd love to hear more about any stories you may have related to mentors who have helped you and how you approach mentorship, how you find the correct mentor to follow.
Yep. My first answer would be to not actively search for mentors, But yeah, the search for people who have been through the same journey. Like if you think that you want to do something, you want to clear Fang interviews, you want to be a front end engineer, then you contact a front end engineer who is working there. That's the thing you need to do. Because if you mentioned stories, so I'd like to share. In my first year, I've told you that I've been on the creative side. I did not really know much about coding, and I asked my senior, who was at the time not placed, not doing anything, and I asked him, what kind of an exposure or what kind of a package do we expect from a student from MSIT, and if I could ever land a Fang offer, etc. So his straight answer was कि कोडिंग अगर आज तक नहीं करी है तो छोड़ दो, MSIT से जिंदगी में कोई कुछ नहीं कर पाया है और ना तुम कर पाओगे. So to translate it in English, he told me that there's nothing I could do at this point if I had never done coding before. And to even expect a good offer from a tier 3 institution, I'd be a fool to expect something like that. So that's what he said. And it was very demotivating at the time. Yeah. And, but yeah, you know the rest of the story. I did not really indulge much in coding at the moment. But after a while, I did some coding. I
And
did
now we know.
some,
Yeah, we talked about that now.
yeah,
Cool. I think that's really sad. I think, this is just the people don't understand. All of you students who are watching, they don't understand that opinions are based around experiences. So if someone themselves have not achieved anything in life, they would give you advice like the Rahul just mentioned, that you can't do anything.
yeah,
This is just me, and I know people who as well. I take this as a motivation. Like if someone says you can't do it, then I will do it and I will prove them wrong.
yeah,
So I think like when you talk about mentorship, right, it's very easily, the more desperate you are for early success, the more vulnerable you are to getting misguided. Good things take time, right? And when it comes to mentorship, here's how I approach mentorship. Could not agree more on the point that Rahul mentioned. Only take people that you can relate to. So when I was in my first year, I saw that, okay, who is a person who is from a tier 3 college, who is doing amazing work? I found out these people in open source, because in open source, college does not matter. The wrong thing that people do is they take guidance from people based on their number of their followers and subscribers. There's this guy, he started reviewing colleges, right? I'm not going to name him. Started reviewing colleges, never worked in a company, I'm sure, never done open source, biggest tech influencer in India. I don't think there's a single person who can comment right now in the description below YouTube that this person has helped me land a job. These are all clickbaits. You have to understand, when you talk about mentorship, think about the person whom you can relate to and always look for proof. And there are two types of ways that you can get where you can get motivation and mentorship. The example that Rahul gave is also a very good example for how to find mentorship. These are basically like, someone says you can't do it, then you would be able to do it. People say you can't get a good job without computer programming. That's true, because they are speaking from their own experience. So
yep,
they can't get a good job without computer programming, but I
yeah, they
can,
can do it.
and I have done it. Yeah, they can't do it. मैं तो agree कर रहा हूँ. I'm agreeing with you. You can't get it, but we can
Yeah,
get it. We have done it, right?
yeah,
So when it comes to mentorship, there are two types of people on YouTube you'll find. One are like, who are obviously right there, doing great things right out of college. Me, Rahul, Sanskar. Sanskar is not on YouTube, but I always like to give his example. Shive, who did great things out of college. So many people that I know in open source. The second type of people is who have struggled in their career at the beginning. So someone, I know many YouTubers who struggled in companies like FANG companies in India. I call that struggle, because compared to what you get, compared to the offers I've gotten right now, FANG India is a struggle for me. And this is also the reason many people quit their own job in Amazon India or whatever, and they do all their other things and whatever. So this is also a good place to get motivation, because I did this. I checked out all the FANG India YouTubers. I checked out their path, what they did, and I was like, okay, these are the things they did. I would not do this because I don't want to end up like them. So you have to take motivation like that also. So I was like, oh, these all people are doing computer programming. They are earning like 10, 15 LPA in Amazon India or whatever. This is pretty average compared to like 70, 60 lakhs per annum earning from India. Okay, fine. Thank you for your motivation. I would not go that route. I want to aim for crores worth of packages right after college. So
Yeah.
again, I'm not saying that 10, 15 is not enough. If you're getting those roles, definitely go for it. Then you can move forward. Something is better than nothing. Having this
Yeah.
big tech company in your resume will definitely help you in other international opportunities after 1, 2 years of your career. You have to think about it as well. If this Amazon India thing is, or Microsoft India or Fang India thing is a dream job, why do people like quit after 1 year, 2 years? And why do people start their own YouTube channel mostly in India? Because second source of income, because these companies don't pay much compared to, you know, having a luxury lifestyle that people or everyone wishes for uh, when it comes to hiring abroad. So always look for such mentors. And if you're in college, I would recommend aim for extraordinary things right after college. If you're not from college, if you're working at a mass recruiter, if you're working for a company that you want to get out of, you're not satisfied enough or whatever, look for people who also worked at these companies and then they moved ahead to bigger companies. Okay, so I know people who worked at some companies 2, 3 years of experience, then they move to other big tech companies or whatever. So always take guidance from people whom you can relate to and be safe from clickbaits.
Yeah.
So sort of like, and mentorship should be decentralized. Like you do not be dependent on one person. Check out the
Yeah.
mentorship in the community as a whole. They can help you, and open source is great for that. So I would, one last point I'd like to mention is take guidance from people who have global exposure, who are active around the world. That could really change your mindset. Anything to add, Rahul?
Yeah, but you've mentioned most of the points and the most important points. And yep, it's to sum it up, pehle dekho and understand.
All right, I believe we covered everything. Like, how did you prepare, interview experience, and prerequisites, how you applied, and all these additional benefits. So yeah, students after like right after college are getting such opportunities. Rahul is an example. I am an example, but students don't really like me that much. But that's why I keep bringing amazing people like Rahul, because um, achieving when you achieve extraordinary things, now people don't really believe you, and I think it's okay. It's because it's not affecting you as a person. It's like only up to the people what they want to believe or not. But yeah, facts are always important. So really appreciate you giving the time, Rahul, and good luck with Dublin. I will see you there in September. I have a talk
Yep.
in I have a talk in Germany for container days. So it's like the dream, living with your best friend, traveling with your friends, childhood people.
Yep.
All right, that's pretty much about it. Do you have any closing remarks, any message to people who are willing to like? So, just one more question can be like, did you ever feel like you are going to be like facing some difficulties being from an electronics branch or whatever? And what would you recommend other people who are in the same place as you were a few years ago?
Yeah, so closing remarks, I would say competitive coding is not important. Lead code is more than enough. And the first step is to apply. If you keep waiting for opportunities, it's never going to happen. So you need to apply as well. And I think you have a session with your Google recruiter as well, in which she said that you don't need to be ready to apply. You can apply anytime you want. So apply, learn new skills, then you can update your resume. So the first step is to apply. And third, Kunal Kushwaha is also more than enough to
Yeah,
clear
but
farming.
self study is important. Even though my
Yeah.
course is good, but self study is important.
Yeah.
So for folks who want to be in touch with you after the session, I'll leave all the links in the description below. But if you can just share where they can reach out and join your communities as well.
Yep, of course. On LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, I'm at the red owl Rana everywhere. So you can contact me there. And I'm also forming a community of mostly student developers right now. Um, it's an initiative for artists to leverage their royalties for cash in hand. It's a Web3 based uh, open source community. So it's open parks, and if you want to be a part of it, also you can check the link, and you can contact me directly.
Amazing. Well, thanks for sharing, Rahul. And again, if you want to connect with Rahul, join his community. There's a proof of work, proof of achievements. Always look for proof. You can find the link in the description below, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.